just people being like, look, I'm tired of sharing my house with you. I'm tired of sharing my private jet with you. And what do you offer me in return? Absolutely nothing.
Occasionally there needs to be an opportunity based on a unique circumstance to ensure that my family...
Hey, quick one. Have you noticed how Meghan Markle and Prince Harry keep landing in headlines every few months? Stick around, and if you're into this kind of breakdown, tap subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Every time their names pop up, the story feels louder than before. And this time, it's not just talk about Hollywood struggles or being out of touch. Now people are throwing out bold claims that they might be leaning on wealthy friends for private jets and luxury vacation homes.
Hi, Elton.
Hi, Elton.
We just wanted to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
We are just so proud of you. We're so grateful that we were able to see you on your farewell tour also.
That's the rumor. And online, it's chaos. Opinions everywhere, debates heating up fast, and everybody suddenly has something to say. But when you really dig into it, things stop looking so simple. Is this real, or just another storyline that keeps chasing them? The moment this claim dropped, people didn't just react, they looked back.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry getting the cold shoulder from their Montecito neighbors. A quick little bite from the piece. A source tells Page 6 that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's Montecito, California neighbors are over it. It's not hate, says a source. It's just a growing...
Straight to that private jet situation with Elton John, the one nobody really forgot. When news first hit that Harry and Meghan flew on his private jet, it wasn't just celebrity travel gossip. It blew up worldwide almost overnight. Not because private jets are rare in that world, they're not.
I think even of, she would not shoot what was supposed to be a very personal show about being a lifestyle guru and how to be the consummate hostess and make people feel warm and invited and well-fed and well taken care of into one's home. And she wouldn't even do it in her own house. She borrowed a neighbor's home, a neighbor's kitchen. And I guarantee you she did not give them a day rate for filming in said house. And those people had to relocate. I'm sure they had to move out and go find someplace else to stay. I'm sure these are people with multiple residences, but that is not the point. She is a taker. I call them both takers and destroyers.
But because of the timing and the image they were putting out there. At that time, they were openly talking about climate responsibility and doing better for the environment. Then suddenly, boom, headlines show them flying private, and the reaction was instant and loud. People didn't just question the flight, they questioned the gap between what was being said and how they were living. Elton John stepped in and explained he covered the cost himself, saying it was about safety and privacy, not luxury. According to him, it was a thoughtful decision. But here's what really sticks. Even with that explanation, the conversation didn't go away. Once people feel like they've spotted a contradiction, it locks in hard.
I also think that we've heard over the years that they will ask you, can I borrow your beach house? Oh, thank you for letting me use your vacation home. Do you mind if I borrow your private jet to get there? I mean, they ask and relentlessly ask for more with zero shame.
It doesn't matter what comes after, that first impression becomes the lens for everything else. Now fast forward to today, and a new claim drops saying they're leaning on wealthy friends for jets, homes, and exclusive perks. Suddenly, that old story comes rushing back. But now it feels heavier. Before, it looked like a one-off moment with an explanation. Now people are asking if it was actually the first sign of something bigger. And that shift, from one moment to a possible pattern, is exactly why this is spreading so fast. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The way this claim is being talked about, there's no solid proof, just a tone that makes it sound like an open secret. Behind closed doors, in powerful circles, this is just how things work.
Some of the neighbors saying that they don't hate them, they just avoid them. No one wants to be seen with them. It's a growing awareness that they're takers with zero self-awareness and everyone's exhausted by them. I think takers is the key word. They've been accused of asking to borrow people's vacation homes, asking to borrow their jets. Their relationships seem very one-sided, and they're focused on what they can get out of other people and how they can take the financial burden off of themselves.
Whether that's true or not, it spreads fast because it fits what people already think. And once that idea lands, the story starts building itself. People begin connecting dots that were never officially linked. The private jet moment, the luxury image, the high-profile friendships, and suddenly, it looks like one big picture, even if those pieces don't fully match. And the timing? That's adding even more pressure because this isn't happening quietly. Meghan is stepping back into the spotlight again, making moves that feel very intentional. Reports say she's appearing as herself, not a huge acting role, nothing dramatic, but just enough to remind everyone she's still in the mix, still visible, still part of that world. At the same time, there are clear signs her business ambitions are picking up speed. Trademarks, branding moves, quiet strategy shifts.
Seems even Californians have caught up on how unbearable Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are. A new report has revealed the couple's neighbours in Montecito have had enough. One source told Page 6 they are avoiding them. No one wants to be seen with them. It's just a growing awareness that they're takers with zero self-awareness. Everyone is exhausted by them.
All pointing to something bigger being built step by step. And it feels like there's more just around the corner. Now things get messy because two completely different storylines are crashing into each other at the exact same time. If you're following this, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss where this goes next. On one side, people say Meghan is locked in, building something new, expanding her brand, making smart, long-term moves that scream independence. On the other side, there's a totally different claim, that behind the scenes, powerful connections are still doing a lot of the heavy lifting, that wealthy circles and elite networks are opening doors most people never even get near. When those two ideas collide, it creates instant tension. People start asking, what's actually real here? And the internet? It doesn't wait around for answers. It reacts fast, and right now the reaction is loud. Everywhere you look, people are breaking this down, pulling old moments back into focus, reanalyzing everything through a sharper lens.
99% of my life traveling the world by commercial. Occasionally there needs to be an opportunity based on a unique circumstance to ensure that my family are...
Because once a claim like this shows up, it doesn't stay contained. It spreads into every part of the story. Suddenly, every trip looks planned, every connection feels strategic, every luxury moment raises eyebrows. Nothing feels casual anymore. Everything starts to look like it has a deeper meaning. And that's the exact moment a simple headline turns into a full-blown narrative that follows them everywhere. That's what's happening now. Whether this claim is true or not, the impact is already bigger than just one situation. It's starting to reshape how people see everything connected to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And this reaction isn't random. It's building on years of public perception, repeated headlines, and an image that's been questioned again and again. These claims about private jets and luxury homes didn't land in a calm space.
Takers is an excellent word. So is entitlement, users. I mean, a lot of words you could use to describe those.
They dropped into an environment where people are already ready to connect dots fast. And when something feels familiar, it doesn't need strong proof to spread. It just needs to sound believable enough to fit the picture people already have in their minds. Right now, that familiarity is doing a lot of the work. To understand why this is hitting so hard, you have to look at one topic that's followed them for years: the environmental conversation. Prince Harry has spoken many times about climate responsibility and global awareness, not just once, but across interviews, speeches, and public appearances. It became part of their public identity, a modern couple connected to bigger issues and forward-thinking values. But that image has always carried tension.
What took them so long? This was clear to most of us a while back.
Yeah, I don't know where are these kids going to land. They got nowhere to go. They started in Vancouver and then people found out where we were living. We had to leave. Then they were in the UK. They got kicked out of there. They had to move another place in UK. Now in Montecito, it's like they're turning into weird modern day gypsies.
Because the moment private jet travel enters the chat, people notice the contrast immediately. And one moment that really shaped this? The Elton John connection. When it came out that they used his private jet, it didn't stay a small detail. It exploded into a global discussion. Not because private jets are shocking in that world, but because of the timing. The focus quickly turned to what many saw as a contradiction, talking about environmental responsibility while flying private. That contrast became the center of attention, sparking strong reactions and ongoing debate. Elton John stepped in and explained he paid for the flight himself, saying safety was a major reason behind it.
I mean, you would think there are really smart people living in Montecito. They have a lot of money. They would have picked up on this from day one, but it's been apparently a growing awareness. The quote continues that they're takers with a zero self-awareness. Everyone is exhausted by them. Another source, they are avoiding them. Neighbors of the two of them, no one wants to be seen with them.
That added important context, no doubt, but even then, the conversation didn't disappear. Instead, that moment stuck. It became a reference point people keep going back to whenever this topic comes up again. And now, with new claims about borrowing private jets and staying in luxury homes, people aren't seeing this as something separate. They're connecting it all. The Elton John situation, the environmental messaging, the lifestyle, and viewing everything through that same lens. And once that pattern starts forming, it gets harder and harder to ignore what might be coming next. This is why the reaction feels so intense.
If I have to do that, not a decision that I would want to take, but if I have to do that, then I will ensure, as I have done previously, and I will continue to make sure that I do, is to balance out that impact that I have. And I've always offset my CO2.
It's not even about something totally new. It's because it fits a story people already recognize. And when something feels familiar like that, attention spikes fast. If you've made it this far, stay with it, because this part really starts connecting everything. At the same time all this is blowing up, Meghan is quietly stepping back into the spotlight, but not in some loud, headline-grabbing way. It's more subtle, more controlled, like small moves that still send a clear message. She's active, she's building, and she's not stepping away anytime soon. And those moves matter, because they shape how people read the bigger picture. On one side, you've got claims about elite access and powerful connections still playing a role. On the other, you've got visible signs of independence, growth, and serious brand building. When both of those storylines exist at once, tension builds instantly. Now, every move can be seen in two completely different ways. A public appearance could mean progress or strategy. A business move could look like independence or careful positioning. Even silence starts to mean something depending on what people already believe. That's why this moment feels so charged. It's not just about one claim anymore. It's about how that claim fits into a much bigger story that's been building for years. And once that kind of narrative takes shape, separating fact from assumption gets tricky fast. So when people hear about private jets, luxury homes, and powerful connections, they're not hearing something new. They're connecting it to everything that came before. Past headlines, viral moments, environmental conversations, public statements, it all blends together. That's why the reaction isn't just about now. It's about the full history leading up to this point. Every moment becomes part of the context, shaping how people respond today. And honestly, that's a big reason this story spread so quickly. Not just because of the claim, but because of everything surrounding it. At this stage, the conversation has clearly moved way beyond a single headline. What started as talk about jets and luxury stays has turned into something much bigger. Something tied to reputation, perception, and expectation all at once. Because stories like this aren't judged on facts alone. They're judged on how well they match what people already believe. Familiar patterns matter, and when something seems to fit, it takes off fast. That's where things get complicated, because once a narrative locks in, new information doesn't land neutrally. It gets filtered through everything people have already seen and heard. For some, Harry and Meghan represent independence and breaking away from tradition. For others, they represent inconsistency and a gap between message and lifestyle. And when a new claim drops, it doesn't land in an empty space. It hits an audience that already has strong opinions locked in. This latest wave didn't just grow because of the claim, it exploded because of how fast it spread online. Not necessarily based on confirmed details, but because it felt familiar enough to believe, easy enough to share, and simple to plug into existing views without much questioning. That's how these cycles move now. They don't just report, they reinforce what people expect to see. And what really makes this moment stand out is how it keeps tying back to older tension that never fully disappeared. The Elton John connection keeps coming up again and again whenever private jets are mentioned. Even though it was explained at the time and Elton John clarified the situation himself, that moment turned into something symbolic. It stopped being just one trip and started representing a much bigger conversation about environmental messaging and lifestyle choices, and that connection still hasn't let go. And once something turns symbolic, it sticks, way longer than any explanation ever could. These moments get reused, reshaped, and pulled back into the spotlight every time a similar topic shows up. That's exactly why these latest claims feel so intense. They're not being seen as separate at all. Instead, they're being stacked onto a bigger framework that already includes environmental debates, public expectations, and past criticism. And inside that framework, consistency becomes everything. When actions match the message, credibility goes up. But when people think there's a mismatch, that's when doubt creeps in. And once it's there, it doesn't just disappear. It comes back again and again. every time a new headline feels connected. That cycle is what keeps this conversation alive, even when new details try to shift the story. And the media plays a huge role here too. Headlines are built to grab attention fast, not always to give full context right away. So those first impressions, they hit hard and stick. By the time more details show up, the main idea has already spread everywhere. And a claim like relying on wealthy networks for private jets and luxury homes, that's the kind of headline that moves Bsura. It's simple, bold, and instantly fun. But behind that simplicity, things are usually way more layered. Public figures often move in circles where connections, invitations, and shared resources are just part of how things work. Travel, events, accommodations, these can all be tied to wider networks. But here's where it splits. One person sees normal industry behavior, another sees proof of a bigger pattern, and that gap, that's exactly where the debate keeps growing. At the same time, Meghan's presence in media and branding adds even more weight to everything. Every appearance, every project, every move, it all shapes how people read her direction. Some see independence, growth, and long-term vision beyond royal ties. Others watch more closely, questioning whether everything lines up with past messaging. And as long as those two views exist side by side, nothing fully settles. Every update just feeds the conversation instead of ending it. What's clear is this story isn't slowing down, it's evolving. New reactions, fresh opinions, different takes keep getting added, and the narrative keeps expanding. And honestly, the way people respond says just as much about the audience as it does about Harry and Meghan. Public perception doesn't form on its own, it builds over time. Headlines, past stories, personal opinions, they all shape how new information gets received. And once a narrative feels familiar, it can start running on its own. People expect it, look for it, and sometimes even reinforce it without realizing. Patterns start to feel obvious even when the full picture isn't complete. Looking at the bigger picture, this goes way beyond one claim being true or false. It shows how narratives are built step by step, how momentum grows, and how separate moments can start to feel like one long, connected story. Right now, that story is still unfolding, not in a straight line, and definitely not with a clean ending. It keeps moving through new claims, fresh reactions, and shifting interpretations that keep everything alive. Whether this leads to clarity or just more debate, that part's still up in the air. But one thing is certain, as long as people are watching, this conversation isn't going anywhere anytime soon. If you've got thoughts on all this, drop them below. I want to hear where you stand. And if you don't want to miss what's coming next, make sure you're subscribed and stay locked in for more updates.